Hello and welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you can test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I will be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions, covering everything from your basic Disney knowledge to some unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and in the comments down below, let us know what your score was. Well, there are always things that are going on at Disney, and we are in the holiday season, which means there's a lot of fun holiday activities going on. Plus, you might be thinking about doing Disney for a family trip or a gift. If you are someone who is looking to plan that Disney vacation, need a little bit of help planning and navigating those waters, all you got to do is reach out to me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We get everything all taken care of for you. So I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. We're just going to jump right into round number 1. And round number 1 is just called Rotten Tomato Flops. The way this round will work is I'm going to give you a review from a Rotten Tomato expert, if you will, and these ones are all negative reviews on highly positive reviewed movies. These are usually the 1 or 2 that they say, hey, this movie actually isn't that good. All you got to do, tell me what movie is this review from. So let's get started here with question number 1. Christopher Schobert on December 5th, 2018. In its attempt to please both children and adults equally, this movie is a failure. Question number 2. Eric Henderson on October 4th, 2005. A trim hour and change worth of Gerber life lessons. Question number 3. George Campbell Dixon on December 20, 2022. An extension to a full-sized canvas has involved a certain amount of repetition and padding that slow down the tempo and dilute the wit. There's too much knockabout. The dwarfs are continually running into judging by Mr. Disney's own standards. Question number 4. Andrew Galdi on May 7th, 2020. This movie needs a little bit more Blue Crush. Question number 5. Antonio Lara on July 23, 2019. A strange hybrid that only represses the creator's delusion of grandeur. And question number 6. Hugo Davenport on March 1st, 2024. The film has an air of hollow grandeur. The music and songs are mostly petty awful, the story single-stranded, and Scar's evil hyena henchmen hard to tell apart. Worst of all, the lions often look not so much notable as smug. Alright, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to put those together, and then I will return. As mentioned, these are some of the most highly rated Disney movies on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's just see if we can figure out which one goes with what movie. So let's get started with question number 1. Christopher Schobert on December 5th, 2018. In its attempt to please both children and adults equally, the movie is a failure. That is Zootopia. Christopher thought that in an attempt to please both children and adults, Zootopia doesn't do it. That was his opinion, I guess. Question number 2. Eric Henderson on October 4th, 2005. A trim hour and change worth of Gerber life lessons. That was on Cinderella. Apparently, the Gerber life lessons just did not sit well with Eric. Just wasn't a fan of it, I guess. Question number 3. George Campbell Dixon on December 20th, 2022. An extension to a full-sized canvas has involved a certain amount of repetition and padding that slow down the tempo and dilute the wit. There is much knockabout. The dwarfs are continually running into judging by Mr. Disney's own standards. Of course, he mentioned dwarfs. That is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and this came from, yes, a UK-based publication. That was my worst UK accent possibly ever, but Apparently not a fan of Snow White. Question number 4. Andrew Galdi on May 7th, 2020. This movie needs a little bit more Blue Crush. That is, of course, Moana. He is talking about, he wanted more surfing in the movie. Now, apparently, him and someone else that had negative reviews on Moana, their whole thing is like negative reviews on movies. So, take it with a grain of salt on that one. Question number 5. Antonio Lara on July 23, 2019. A strange hybrid that only represents the creator's delusion of grandeur. That is Fantasia. And if you've ever seen Fantasia, yeah, you can see it. You can understand. This is a very similar review as to what those who were around when Fantasia first came out thought of the movie as well. So this one kind of walks in lockstep of it. Now looking back on it, we can see it for what it is. But in the moment at the time, they were not so pleased with Fantasia. Last but not least, question number 6. Hugo Davenport on March 1st, 2024. The film has an air of hollow grandeur. The music and songs are mostly petty awful. The story single-stranded, and Scar's evil hyena henchmen hard to tell apart. Worst of all, the lions often look not so much noble as smug. That is, of course, The Lion King, talking about the hyenas, talking about Scar, talking about the lions. That one is The Lion King. And this is the original animated Lion King that is being talked about here by Hugo. So, as great as we see movies, sometimes you just can't please everyone. In my personal opinion, these are 6 great movies. These individuals disagree, and that's okay. But, take my word for it or theirs, whichever you prefer. Continuing on now to round number 2, and round number 2 is our fast facts. This round is filled with simple questions that have simple answers. Today's category is finish the quote. The way that this round will work is I'm going to start the beginning of a quote from a Disney movie. You just have to fill in the rest, and I will give you the amount of blanks for the amount of words that are left. So let's get started with question number 1. Hakuna Matata. It means no worries for the blank, 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 blank. Question number 2. To infinity, blank, blank. Question number 3. A dream is a wish, blank, blank, blank. Question number 4. The only way to get what you want in this world is blank, blank, blank. Question number 5. Sometimes the right path is not blank, blank, blank. And question number 6. In every job that must be done, blank, 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 blank. Now, some of these are movie songs, some of them are just spoken lines, but all these are legendary within Disney lore. So let's get started here with question number 1. Hakuna Matata, it means no worries for the rest of your days. So that's the 4 blanks, rest of your days. So yeah, again, a little bit of a song lyric, but also it's spoken as well. Question number 2. To infinity, blank, blank. That one is and beyond. To infinity and beyond, of course, of Toy Story. Question number 3. A dream is a wish your heart makes. So that's the 3 blanks. Your heart makes. Again, a classic Disney song there and some classic Disney lyrics. Question number 4. The only way to get what you want in this world is through hard work. Those are the 3 blanks. Blank, blank, blank was through hard work. That is from Princess and the Frog. Tiana trying to set Naveen straight. She kind of does. Question number 5. Sometimes the right path is not the easiest one. That one, again, another classic Disney quote as well. Just reminding us, sometimes the right path isn't the easy one. Last but not least, question number 6. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. So yes, this is from a song. Technically, these are the lyrics to A Spoonful of Sugar, but it's also spoken by Mary Poppins herself, which leads me to remind you, if you have not checked out the Mary Poppins 60th anniversary special that aired on ABC last week, highly recommend it. But hopefully you enjoyed that. We might return to this sometime later in the future. Continuing on now into round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles. The way that this round will work is I will ask you 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related, but the answers do relate somehow through Disney. That's going to be your 6th and final question, is what is that connection? So let's get started here with question number 1. Who used to tell us about the blood on the saddle and the blood on the floor? Question number 2. Someone who makes movies might be better known by this 9-letter word starting with the letter F that also describes what they work with to capture movement. Question number 3. According to John Lennon, some might call him one of these. Question number 4. Someone who often tells tales or reads books out loud can be one of these 11-letter S words. Question number 5. What is a common term used when talking about a pair of individuals that work together on an activity? And question number 6 is what is that connection? I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, see if you can connect those circles, and then I will return. All right, let's see if we can connect those circles. So question number 1. Who used to tell us about the blood on the saddle and the blood on the floor? That is Big Al. One of my biggest heartbreaks with them redoing the Country Bear Jamboree is we lose the blood on the floor. Big Al, I feel like, is a distant relative of mine. So that's why I bonded so much with him. Question number 2. Someone who makes movies might be better known by this 9-letter word starting with the letter F that also describes what they work with to capture movement. That would be a filmmaker. So filmmaker is also a way to be able to say like someone who works with that stuff, and the film is what records the movements that we eventually see. Question number 3. According to John Lennon, some might call him one of these. That would be a dreamer. Of course, we're talking about the song Imagine, when he has the line, "You may say I'm a dreamer." That's where that comes from. Question number 4. Someone who often tells tales or reads books out loud can be one of these 11-letter S words. That would be a storyteller. Sometimes they make up stories as well. Stories of grandeur, big stories, little stories, tall tales, everything else like that. Question number 5. What is a common term used when talking about a pair of individuals that work together on an activity? That would be partner. Oftentimes people will partner up together, school project, police officers, whatever other situation that requires 2 people partner up with each other to be able to accomplish something. So that would be called a partner. So last but not least, question number 6 is what is the connection? Well, we had answers such as Big Al, filmmaker, dreamer, storyteller, and partner. The connection there, those are all different statues that you can see around the Disney parks. Some are in Orlando, some are in Los Angeles, some are in both. I can tell you right now, the partner statue is one of the most recognizable statues in all of Disney. There's 5 of them total, 4 in Disney parks and then 1 at the animation studio. Big Al, you can find him out in California. The filmmaker, Hollywood Studios. The Dreamer, that is the newest statue in Epcot that they just opened up, where Walt is sitting and just glancing up and smiling at what he built there with Epcot. And then the Storyteller, that's also a newer statue as well. That one we can see at California Adventure. So a lot of really cool statues around Disney and in Disney. So if you ever get a chance to check those out, my daughter's favorite is the Roy statue in Magic Kingdom. I think that's just because Minnie is right there next to him. But if you get a chance to check those statues out, they are definitely really, really cool. Continuing on now into round number 4. Round number 4 is typically reserved for movie anniversaries, and today it is one of those movie anniversaries. We didn't have a show last week, so technically this movie's anniversary was last week, but still, it's a good one to talk about. We're going to talk about Aladdin, part of the Disney lore, a fantastic movie that came out during the Renaissance. All these questions are geared towards Aladdin, so let's get started with question number 1. What comedian voiced the genie and improvised multiple lines of dialogue? Question number 2. What Disney songwriter wrote the music for both the movie as well as the theater version of Aladdin? Question number 3. Who is Jafar seeking to find the treasure inside the Cave of Wonders? Question number 4. John Musker and Ron Clements directed Aladdin together and have gone on to do several other Disney classics. What do they typically add to their films as an homage to Aladdin? Question number 5. Who is the prince that Raja tries to take a bite out of after Jasmine rejects him, only to end up leaving him with a hole in his pants? And question number 6. Aladdin finishes second in the box office the weekend it was released. What sequel beat it out that weekend? I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on Aladdin. So question number 1. What comedian voiced the genie and improvised multiple lines of dialogue? Well, that would be Robin Williams. Matter of fact, he improvised, I think they said like 16 hours worth of dialogue. And he improvised so much that when Disney submitted the script for Best Original Screenplay, it was rejected because the movie didn't follow the script as closely as what was needed for the nomination. It was very interesting, but it definitely added to the movie. Question number 2. What Disney songwriter wrote the music for both the movie as well as the theater version of Aladdin? Well, that would be Alan Menken. He is one of the guys who has really helped to make the music during the Disney Renaissance, and ever since then, he has been a staple at Disney since 1985. Question number 3. Who is Jafar seeking to find the treasure inside the Cave of Wonders? That is the diamond in the rough. Now, if you had said Aladdin, technically, yeah, that's who the diamond in the rough is, but he is looking for the diamond in the rough to go into the cave to get the lamp and everything else like that. Question number 4. John Musker and Ron Clements directed Aladdin together and have gone on to do several other Disney classics. What do they typically add to their films as an homage to Aladdin? That is the carpet. Whether it's a pattern, whether you actually see the carpet, you know it's one of their movies when the carpet is involved. Two of the most obvious ones are in Princess and the Frog, as they're starting to kind of pan out down in New Orleans. You can see the carpet being shaken out. And then in Moana, you can see the carpet being used as a way to catch Moana really early on in one of the songs. So yeah, that is, you see the carpet in several other different homages to Aladdin. Question number 5. Who is the prince that Raja takes a bite out of after Jasmine rejects him, only to end up leaving him with a hole in his pants? That would be Prince Ahmed. That was the one that we see coming through the town square that Aladdin, talked to and everything else like that. He's going in to try to swoon Jasmine. Jasmine obviously turns him down and leaves him, and Raja leaves him with a hole in his pants. Last but not least, question number 6. Aladdin finished second in the box office the weekend it was released. What sequel beat it out that weekend? Well, that would be Home Alone 2: Lost in New York City, a humble movie about a future president who tried to help a little kid go back home, or a continuation of Macaulay Culkin getting lost in New York City. Either theory is up to you on which one you want to use, but that opening weekend, Home Alone 2 did beat out Aladdin for the box office there. Eventually, Aladdin did surpass Home Alone 2 in terms of overall earnings, but at that weekend, Home Alone 2 took the victory. But again, great movie. If you haven't watched it in a minute, check it out. It'll bring back all the nostalgia. Continuing on now into round number 5. Round number 5 is going to be called Frozen Nuggets. So last week we saw the anniversary of Frozen as well. So this round's dedicated to all the little nuggets that you can see throughout the Frozen movie. It should be noted, these are all in the Frozen movie. There is a nugget in Moana where in her canoe you can see the nose and the arm of Olaf, but these are specific nuggets found in the movie Frozen. So let's get started here with question number 1. What character can be seen walking into the castle in First Time in Forever? Question number 2. What legendary figure can be seen in the background of Anna singing Do You Want to Build a Snowman, as well as at Wandering Oaken? Question number 3. During the song In Summer, what famous advertisement is portrayed by one of the sand people and a seagull? Question number 4. While performing In Summer, what movie is the inspiration for Olaf to dance with the seagulls? Question number 5. After Hans sentences Elsa to death, Olaf comes into the room that Anna is located and the windows blow open. After the windows blow open, what falls down, signaling the possible demise of Elsa? And question number 6. What disclaimer is shown at the end of the credits? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music. Now is a good time to pause this and go and watch this movie real quick again. Maybe see if you can see any of these. And then I will return to give us our answers. All right, let's get you some answers here on some Frozen Nuggets. So question number 1. What character can be seen walking into the castle in First Time in Forever? Well, that would be Rapunzel and Flynn from Tangled. And that's why if you've ever watched Olaf and when he does all the little different Disney movies, when he does Tangled, it says, presents Tangled. And then he rolls it up and says, a story about a close personal friend of mine. This is where that comes from. It's obviously Rapunzel doesn't have her long hair. She has her short hair, but it's still there. Question number 2. What legendary figure can be seen in the background of Anna singing Do You Want to Build a Snowman, as well as at Wandering Oaken? Well, that would be Mickey Mouse. You can see him when she's in one of the galleries. He's sitting on one of the shelves, and then in Wandering Oaken, he's kind of hidden behind some books. But there are 2 appearances of Mickey in Frozen, just very briefly. And yes, I wore my Wandering Oaken shirt today in honor of this fact. Question number 3. During the song In Summer, what famous advertisement is portrayed by one of the sand people and a seagull? That is the Coppertone advertisement. That's where the little baby is having her bottoms kind of pulled down by the dog. That is a very well-known advertisement. They kind of portray it there with a sand person and a seagull pulling on the sand person's bathing suit. Question number 4. While performing In Summer, what movie is the inspiration for Olaf to dance with the seagulls? That is, of course, Mary Poppins. We have the hat. We got the seagulls representing the penguins. We're just missing the whole penguin dance from Olaf representing Dick Van Dyke. That would have been just the cherry on top. Would have been great. Question number 5. After Hans sentences Elsa to death, Olaf comes into the room Anna is located, and the windows blow open. After the windows blow open, what falls down, signaling the possible demise of Elsa? Well, that would be the White Queen on the chessboard. So you can see in the foreground as Olaf is going to try to close the windows, aka he sees Hans, or he sees Sven and all, and Kristoff coming back, but there's a chessboard right in the foreground there. And when those windows blow open, you can see the White Queen fall over as a representative of Elsa and her possible demise. Last but not least, question number 6. What disclaimer is shown at the end of the credits? There's a disclaimer there saying that Disney doesn't agree with Kristoff that comments about eating boogers. Says that not all Disney employees agree with the thought that men eat their boogers. So I stand by that disclaimer. I am not a representative of Disney. I do not work for them. I do not speak for the brand or the company, but I 100% agree with that disclaimer. We all don't eat our boogers. Aaron Rodgers might. I don't. So again, these are just some fun little nuggets. We can see more and more of these nuggets throughout time when it comes to Disney. We see them a lot more in the more recent movies, but they are still there. Pixar does a really good job of that as well. So now if you've seen it a million times like I have, these are some more ways to kind of keep the movie interesting for you as well. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I will return next week with more questions and more fun. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up. In the comments down below, let us know what your score is. If you're not watching us on YouTube, hopefully you're listening to us. Make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts. If you're not on Apple, make sure you subscribe everywhere else. Wherever you can, leave us a 5-star review. And again, if you are planning a Disney vacation as a gift for this upcoming holiday season, I would love to help make all your dreams come true. All you got to do is email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com. We can get started today and get that ball rolling. Well, hey, my name is Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time.